be talking about our imports and our exclusives for Infinite Forbidden. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. We're starting up here with the Magic Collidal Soul. It is a level 2 Aqua Tuner monster. If a monster is a special summon by your trap effect, except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. But if you summon it from the graveyard, banish it when it leaves the field, and during your opponent's battle phase, quick effect and activate one of these effects. Immediately after effect resolves, synchro summon a monster you control, and then using this card, or we can immediately exceed summon using this card. You only use one effect of this card's name per turn. Kind of an interesting card. Then we have 82 here. The Volmenia, the Statue of the Sacred Dragon. So pendulum effect, if a monster is special summoned by your trap effect, except during damage step, when you target one card on the field, return it to the hand, then you can special summon this card. You can only use this effect of the Statue of the Sacred Dragon once per turn. And when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can place this monster card in your pendulum zone, and if you do, return the opponent's monster to the hand. You can only use this effect of the Sacred Statue once per turn, and if this card in your monster zone is destroyed, you can place it into your spell and trap card zone. Okay, interesting little gimmicks that we have going here for this. And then Kui Biko here. Special summon this card as an effect monster, fairy, level 2, 0 attack, 0 defense. With the following effects. It's still a trap card. So once per chain, when your opponent's monster activates a monster effect on the field that targets a card or card you control quick effect, we can set this card in your spell and trap card zone. And if you do negate that opponent's effect, then if that monster has the highest attack on your opponent's field, return it to the hand. Well, that's actually pretty gosh darn good. Number 84 is Dipy Fiend, which is kind of an interesting card in itself. You can discard one card, declare an attribute except for water, special summon this card from your hand to either field. Then this card becomes the attribute that was declared until the end of this turn. Then if you special summon this card to your opponent's field, then you can special summon a level 4 lower Fiend monster with an original attribute other than the declared one from your hand or graveyard to your field. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for Fiend monsters. You only use the effect of this card's name once per turn on 15/1000. It's not the best thing in the world. 85, I think this is one of the nicest looking cards in this set. It's a Fiend Fusion monster, Necro Quip Princess. So it's one monster equipped with a monster card and a Fiend monster. Must be special summoned from the extra deck by sending the above cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. You can only control one of these. And if a monster is sent from the hand to the graveyard to activate a card or effect, we can activate one of these effects. We can equip one of those monsters to this card as an equip spell card. It'll gain 500 attack, or we can draw a card. Wow, that's actually pretty solid. 86 here, the League of Uniform Monoclature Strikes. Target one face-up monster you control. Equip 2 monsters with the same original name from the hand deck or graveyard to the targeted spell cards, and it cannot be destroyed by battle while the equipped monster with 2 of those cards, and then cannot special summon for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, except monster with the same original type as that targeted monster. You can only activate one of these per turn. This is actual support for Ojamas. I'm actually sick. 87, the Kochobo's Himatsu. This is, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, we can target a machine monster on the field. For the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for Exceed monsters, and then special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if you do, half that monster's attack. Also, this card's level becomes that monster's. You can only use this effect of Konocho Himatsu once per turn. Very, very interestingly designed card. Then we have the Zapper Shrimp. This is freaking beautiful. I love this card. So it's a tuner plus a non-tuner monster for a level 2 Fish Synchro Tuner monster. That's what you want to see. On special summon, we can send one other card from our hand or field to the graveyard to target one spell or trap card the opponent controls, destroy it. Okay, you can only use this effect of Zapper Shrimp once per turn and once per chain during your opponent's main phase. You can immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. We did it. Now this card is personally nuts. This is Aerial Eater. It is 2 Fiend monsters with the same attribute, and you know, that's actually pretty insane to think about. If this card is Fusion Summon, you send 1 Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard. Oh boy, okay. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 2 level 6 or higher Fiend monsters with the same attribute as each other from your graveyard. Then you can special summon this card from the graveyard. Wow, I did not need that line of text printed on this card. The fact that they made a super poly target out here for the madness that's kind of unfolding for the Fiend decks, I genuinely am impressed with. Like, good job on this one, Konami. I didn't think that Aerial Eater would be a crazy card, but they somehow found a way to make it so. And then we have the Mimigul Master, level 4. So this thing cannot be destroyed by battle card effects while your opponent controls any face-down monsters, or you control a Mimigul monster other than Master. You can you can use each of the following of this card's name once per turn. So if this card is normal or special, we can add a Mimigul monster from our deck to our hand, except for this. And during your opponent's main phase, you can change one face-down monster on the field to face-up attack position. So Dungeon Master is going to start to do some very Dungeon Mastery things here with these little Mimigul monsters, which I think is kind of cool, to say the least, here, for what, you know, you're kind of expecting with these. But the Mimigul theme, I'm going to be honest with you before we get too far into this, if you're expecting these cards to be just some sort of brokenness or some sort of, you know, this deck's going to be good, no, that was not ever going to be the case. So Mimigul Dragon, flip, if it is the main phase, apply these effects in sequence. So you'll destroy all monsters you control, except for Mimigul monsters, okay? And then give control of this card to your opponent. So literally it just gets passed back on over to your opponent. And then during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in face-down defense position. Okay. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Mimigul spell and trap card from your deck to your hand. This thing has an impressive 502,000 for stats. Then we have Mimigul Cerberus. Flip if this is the main phase, apply these effects in sequence. So banish the top 3 cards of your deck. Okay. Then special summon one of your banished monsters to your opponent's field in defense position. Okay, that's that can get really devastating. And then give control of this card to your opponent. Then during the main phase, special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in face-down defense position. And you can only use the effect of Mimigul Cerberus once per turn. And your opponent cannot target face-up spells you control with card effects. Okay, that's a pretty good payoff. And then we have the Mimigul Archfend. Ooh. If it is main phase, apply these effects. Your opponent draws a card, and then send one card from your hand to the graveyard, and then get control of this card to your opponent. Holy crap. That's broken. During the main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in face-down defense position. If normal or special, you can change one face-down monster on the field to face-up attack position or to face-down defense position. This card is the nuts for the archetype. You know, shaving a card away from your opponent's hand is always going to be good. And then we have the Mimigul Dungeon. All Mimigul monsters you controlled that were not normal or special summon this turn gain attack equal to their original defense. Any player controlling a face-down monster cannot normal summon monsters, nor declare attacks with monsters that were special summoned this turn. During your main phase, you can add a Gimme Ghoul monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect in Mimigul Dungeon once per turn. So good. And then we have the Mimigul Maker. Reveal 2 foot monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon to your field in face-down defense position. Then you add the other to your hand. And then you can special summon a Mimigul monster from your hand. Alright, if your opponent special summons, if your opponent special summons a monster except during damage, banish this card from your graveyard, target one face-down monster your opponent controls. Change it to face-up or defense position. You can only use one Mimigul Maker effect per turn, and only once that turn. I like this card a lot. Then we have the Mimigul Room. Special summon a Mimigul monster from your hand or deck to your field, or in face-down defense position to your opponent's field. Then you can change one face-up monster on the field to face-down defense position. We can banish this from the graveyard, target any number of Mimigul monsters you control, return them to the hand. You can only use the effect of Mimigul Room once per turn, and only once that turn. I also like this. I think this is quite cool for an effect. And then our imports, Blazing Bombard Beast, a machine plus a pyro monster. If this card is special summon, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls with a 1900 or less attack. Okay. If this card is sent to the graveyard and target one monster your opponent controls with 1900 or less attack, destroy that monster. And you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. You don't use each effect of this card's name once per turn. It's on a very nice 1900. It's definitely some cuteness here in terms of what they were trying to do with card design. And then Moon of the Closed Heaven. This actually has heaven in the name. I did not realize that. 2 effect monsters. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. This card points to. This turn, if you would link summon a Link 5 monster using that card you control, and then you can also use that opponent's monster that you control as material. Yay, but remember, it has to point to it. Don't try to get cheesy out here and cheat, all right? I've seen people do that, and it's not very good. Then we have spell card, Monster Reborn. Quick play. Target a monster in either graveyard. So I'll summon it to your field, but for the rest of this turn, it cannot attack, nor can neither player activate its effects. You can only activate one spell card, Monster Reborn, per turn. Hey, this card is actually pretty cute. And then we have the spell card, Soul Exchange. Immediately after effect results, tribute summon one monster. And you can tribute monsters your opponent controls, even though you do not control them. But it cannot be tributed this turn. And if this card is sent to the graveyard from the field, your opponent can also apply the preceding effect, which allows them to tribute summon, but whatever you tribute summon cannot be tributed by your opponent. Isn't that really cool? So, what do you guys think about these goodies? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.